Think about it. Every hiring decision is a choice that can make or break a team, a culture, and even an entire company. So how do we make the right choice? Hi, I'm Dr. Mickey, and welcome to Inside the Mind of Hiring. Here we'll uncover the psychology and strategy behind effective hiring. Because the right fit isn't just about skill or experience. It's about understanding people, their motivations, their strengths, and the shadows of their shortcomings. Together, we'll tackle the tough questions. How do we look beyond bias? How do we find the qualities that make people not just qualified hires, but the right hires? This is about identifying leaders who drive success, lift morale, and actualize a company's vision. Inside the Mind of Hiring starts now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat, and I get to take this incredible journey with Dr. Mickey. Today's show, perception, 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 presidential politics. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Or uh-oh. Or oh my. Or lions and tigers. The point is,
Oh,
Dr.
I like
Mickey,
that.
lions and tigers and bears.
Yeah,
Lions and bears.
absolutely.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Look, perception is critical. Both Dr. Mickey and I, we have degrees in psychology. And one of the most interesting things that you learn in the field is about perception, especially in the areas of research. Now, even more important for Dr. Mickey is he is an incredible leader in the hiring process of top executives. And the methodology he uses, the assessment factors, his own personal views of how the world looks and what the client needs, combined with very, very good information, better known as data. But when all is said and done, all is said and done, uh-oh, perception,
Perception.
perception, perception. Right,
Perception.
Dr. Mickey, right?
You got it. You got it. That's what it is. And let's talk about presidential politics, because that's really top of
Yeah.
mind for a lot of people today. And the president of the United States is basically, we all know, is the CEO of the country. CEO of the country. Now, I've tested a lot of CEO candidates, primarily for small to mid-sized companies. And what that means in sales volume is about 50 million to about 1.5 billion in sales. So that's maybe 100 employees to a few to several, even several thousand employees per company. And but they're not anywhere as big as the U.S.A., of course. But anyway, I sort of had to honestly ask myself, could I recommend President Trump as a hired gun CEO for any of my client companies? And my honest answer is clearly no. So with all due respect to President Trump's supporters, I just perceive him as too toxic and divisive to run a typical private or public company. It was certainly one that I've worked with over the years. Believe me, I have recommended numerous candidates that I have not particularly liked or cared for, but based on objective test data and what the client's needs and goals are at that particular time, I have recommended those candidates. And more often than not, because I'm still in business, they do a good job for the client companies that I've tested them for. But I'm not necessarily liked all the candidates that I've tested. And I have liked a lot of them, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But my perception of President Trump is just too polarizing and negative. I prefer someone who I and others would perceive as more grounded, perhaps more principled, definitely more magnanimous and inclusive, but also, of course, inquisitive, capable of systemic thought, adaptive, direct, and decisive. among other positive traits. Now, by the way, some charisma is preferred, but not necessarily required. But bottom line, I wouldn't want half of my client companies, their workforces, to feel engaged and excited, and the other half of those workforces feeling angry, intimidated, excluded, and passive aggressive. It wouldn't work for I'm sure all of them. Now, but that said, no matter how I feel, there are millions of voters who perceive President Trump quite positively. You know, he has great charisma. He inspires people who have lost faith in government. He dominates the media with great persuasive skills. He challenges and explodes cultural norms in ways that many people really like. And he can divert attention on a dime from issues that could compromise him. His transactional policies attract many voters. That includes maybe NATO paying their fair share, so to speak, and his policies on the border attract many voters. I really get a kick out how humorous and clever he is when he diminishes and denigrates his adversaries or opponents. He also has great drive, energy, has great energy and stamina, a lot of endurance he has. And he acts and makes decisions according to his best interests, his MAGA philosophy, and his loyal base. And he doesn't really care what other people think. And people are really admire that. You know, in short, President Trump is a formidable opponent for any Democratic contender or any independent contender for that matter. So I asked myself, what U.S. presidents could I or probably recommend for my clients? So in the last 100 years.
Well, before we go do that, I want to back up for a minute because you left a few qualities out.
Okay.
And in all fairness, let's just get down to the objectivity. The man is a master strategist. Let's pinpoint this.
Right.
One, strategy from the minute he decided to run for election, and I don't even remember that year. We may not like his ethics. We may not like his approach, but the whole Obama thing, not being a citizen, so you have to look at the strategic direction of this guy, even though borderline morality and ethics, but you have to give him a nod on strategy. And here's why.
No question.
Yeah. The other thing is strategy. He literally strategized the bias in the Supreme Court and did so in a fair way. So let's just talk about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, come on now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
he changed
fair.
the course.
He changed the course, but he did it in a fair way. Now, we need to talk about this for a minute before we hop on. President Biden had the opportunity at some point, I can't remember exactly when, to change the number of Supreme Court justices. He didn't.
Right.
So when it comes to
you mean
adding
justices,
right. Whatever.
Right.
But when you think about decisiveness, albeit sometimes sound a little crazy, like, come on, Putin, come over to Alaska while Putin is putting 100,000 people on the ground and killing Ukrainians. However, there is a strategy that happens. And, if I think about someone, forget his name, I think about someone that has been up and down and out. The guy's journey in New York City. What do they call him? What did somebody call him the other day? Mr. Teflon? Did I get that right? Teflon. but he has this level of resilience that goes
Well,
beyond.
it's like one of these blow up dolls. Every time you knock them down, they pop up.
Right. So,
So he does have great
so you
resilience.
have to ask the question,
It's another
putting the
thing.
divisiveness aside, because divisiveness in any country is an equality that goes back to World War II, and it worked very well for certain countries, which I will not name.
Hmm.
But that's not just going on here. It's going on in Australia. It's going on all over the world. And and I can't, and we'd like to blame Trump for other countries' problems, but that's like a stretch too far. So now let's talk about who you'd put up, because whoever we're going to talk about today has got to have the you know whats to go in there and match decisiveness, strategy, getting things done, changing Supreme Court. Who do you think? And by the way, we're talking third term again. So you're allowed to do third term. So come on,
Right.
Mickey. Tell me, Dr. Mickey,
Well,
who can we match it up with for the CEO of the United States of America?
well, it's interesting.
Mark
I
Cuban.
asked,
Mark Cuban said he may run.
well, that's great. Not according to Perplexity.
Come on now.
Well,
I just didn't
yeah,
want you to leave out his strategic acumen,
right.
because when all is said and done, it's a master chess player, even though chess sometimes has to be, you got to play chess by the rules. I wouldn't say he's a rule player, but
Right.
who now? Let's come on
Okay, so
now. Who do
let's
we
look into
get?
the future.
Yeah, let's
Let's look into
go.
the future.
Like very
I
soon
I,
future.
I didn't ask. I felt like a little bit maybe underqualified or intimidated about coming up with this myself. So I so I asked Perplexity, an AI information app that
Oh,
kind of, and I asked Perplexity, and they came up with some pretty reasoned answer. I said, what Democrats could defeat President Trump if he ran in 2028?
okay. Or
And
Trump or anybody, because they don't even have a candidate to beat Vance. So go ahead.
well, it may, but I'm saying assuming it's
All
Trump
right.
in 2028,
Okay.
because he is pretty formidable. And he's got a very strong following that doesn't change its opinion very much.
So who do we
And
have?
so
Who do
who
we
we
have?
have, we have Barack Obama would be the clear winner, according to Perplexity, both in terms of description and poll data that they still take on President Obama. He would be
Mm,
the clear winner.
yeah.
And
Well,
also,
you got to throw the factor in there that you're not getting Barack. You're getting Michelle and Barack.
okay, whatever. They
Yeah.
didn't give Michelle, they didn't specify Michelle as having any particular appeal or support of President Obama in
Hmm.
terms of his capacity to beat Trump if they both ran against each other in 2028.
Hmm.
Um, and the other candidate that came up strongly as not as a clear winner, but as a toss-up strong competitor is Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. Okay. And I live in Pennsylvania. I live in Philadelphia. And, I know Josh Shapiro very well. And frankly, I would recommend Josh Shapiro as the CEO for, I would say virtually all the clients that I've had, just in terms of his qualities and characteristics. So I would recommend him, but he's not a clear-cut winner.
Hmm.
Barack Obama would be the clear-cut winner. Now, there were other candidates of note. I maybe call them honorable
Hmm.
mentionables. And that's Governor Newsom, um, Gretchen Whitmer, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg. There was somebody else I think I may have, and Alexandria
Ocasio-Cortez. Hmm.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Hmm.
And they were all projected as having strong campaigns against President Trump. But in terms of current data and style, they were viewed as falling a bit short. Just maybe the way Kamala Harris did in the last 2024 election. So they were considered viable competitors, but they all came up as a bit short. So so it was interesting the way they put it together. If you're interested in hearing Dr. Pat, I'm sure the listeners would.
Yeah,
What
go
about,
ahead.
what about Barack Obama made him a clear-cut winner? And I thought the responses were kind of interesting, and I didn't know they would be still taking data and considering these factors. But Obama's national favorability, I can't pronounce that.
Well, his favorability has really,
Favorability
yeah. I mean,
remains
hasn't
high.
really
It's
done
like,
much in a bunch of years, but he's still kind of really Mr. Likable.
yeah, 59%
Hmm.
against the current 44%. That's the current reading
Hmm.
on favorability for President Trump. So he's a clear-cut winner there. Um, People viewed him as uncontroversial when he was president. They viewed him as having a positive overall public image.
Hmm.
A lot of surveys, even current surveys, say that they perceive him as comfortable and safe. Yet he's also perceived as similarly charismatic, um, and able to energize the Democratic base and inspire turnout, especially in urban and metropolitan areas where the Democrats lost ground. Um, how about that?
How about that? Let's talk for a minute.
Okay.
There are many of us that looked at the presidency of Barack Obama and others, especially, and said you could have done more and you did not. And
Sure.
so you're not just dealing with, I mean, think about it from a CEO perspective of a Fortune 50 company.
Right.
The people that are running those companies, they're more than just favorable, they're action oriented. They know how to pivot on a dime. They know
Mhm.
what to do to level the playing field. So this is going to be a very interesting proposition if it were ever to come to bear.
Mhm. The election itself, or
Yes.
if Obama was actually elected president.
Well, if we're talking about, well, no, if he's elected president, he's going to have to really suit up and show up differently than he did before. Charisma is not going to work anymore. I don't believe in this country. People are looking
I don't
for
believe
level the
so.
play, yeah,
And in
level
some
the playing
ways,
field. Yeah,
yeah,
stop
and
redistricting. I mean, there's just so much. Stop talking about Social Security. But let's talk about this. Did your study point out what happens if President Trump doesn't win again?
no, it just
That's
said
going to
who,
be another show.
yeah, it
How
just said,
important was it, Dr. Mickey, for running mate choice? Did any of that come up?
nope,
Okay, so head to
no.
head, head to head.
It's really head to head, and
Okay.
I don't think anybody ever considered the vice president choice to be what enabled the presidential candidate to win. I didn't.
Until the last election.
Well, it's very possible. We all. I don't know about you, Dr. Pat, but I thought certainly thought that Kamala Harris could have picked a stronger candidate, and actually, I wanted her to pick Josh Shapiro.
We all did,
I'm
I
from
think.
Pennsylvania, and based
Right.
on what this is saying, in terms of somebody that could really be viewed as president on day
Hmm.
one if something happened
Hmm.
to President Harris if she won the presidency, that people would feel comfortable, I think, with somebody like Josh Shapiro stepping in. I'm not sure about Tim Walz stepping in.
Hmm.
I thought I just thought he was a safer, less threatening candidate,
Hmm.
and I think he could have been under the circumstances with fewer days to run and all that. He could have been a much more compelling partner, running mate.
I want to ask you a question. I don't know if this came up in your studies, but Josh Shapiro comes with a lot of strengths, but very few people know who this man is.
Sure.
Thank you, Bernie Sanders, because what did Bernie Sanders do? He grabs AOC and they go on field trips and they start to populate crowds larger than we've seen
Right.
from any person in recent
Right.
years just to
They
talk.
have.
Right.
But even though people, a lot of events that Kamala Harris ran in her election campaign,
Mm.
there was a lot of excitement there, but
But
it
is that
didn't
really
pan
what,
out.
but look at all the qualities that you stated for President Trump.
Right.
So, you know, in the work you do and I do in the hiring process, when you have three or more qualified candidates, they have to appear, what's the right word? Equitable or right? They have to appear. So, don't you think it would be a fascinating scenario if President Trump were to run again?
Yes, I do. I do.
They
In
all going to
some
come out of the
ways,
woodwork.
in some ways,
George W. Bush will come out. I mean,
I
think
have
about
this,
it.
assuming he stays healthy, which he would have to.
Mm,
Uh, I, but I have a competitive spirit. There's something about me that's extremely competitive.
yeah.
People, there are certain circumstances I don't compete in, but I'd like to see that race. I'd like to see that race against a worthy opponent
Mm,
against Trump, should he decide, and I think he would if he was healthy enough to run again. I would like to
mm.
see it.
Well, I'm
I
kind of
hate
with
I
you.
hate to
I'm
admit it to a
kind of
lot of
with
people that
you.
don't support him,
I'm
but
with you. I'm concerned. And you know, y'all can email me now, but I'm concerned. This is not a time for politicking without action. And let's say Barack Obama does decide to run. It would be a nightmare for him to run without a female candidate. And the strongest female candidate right now is Gretchen Whitmer. From what everybody, just based on
she
that.
would be she would be viable. And by the way, I would
But you understand,
I would
women would not tolerate. I don't think, you know, most women have not gotten over the whole Hillary Clinton thing.
right.
But you understand that you can't leave a demographic like that out.
No, you can't, but it's best probably to leave a woman out of it at this time.
Can't
I hate to
happen.
say, I know it can't.
Just look at the numbers,
I
though. I mean, let's look at real numbers.
right.
Look at the female numbers. Look
I
at the
hate to
voting
say this. I
numbers.
hate to say this. I'm a big fan of, when I look at candidates, I'm a big fan of women.
But let's just look at data.
I'm nervous about, well, there's a lot of good women in this, well, several. One is
But let's
Gretchen
look at the
Whitmer.
trends. Let's not even
Yeah,
look at women. Let's look at the
yeah.
numbers. Look at the women in increase in Congress. Look at, you see, what's happened is the landscape is changing, and what will become obvious. Let's get back to perception, perception, perception. Barack Obama would be faced with a perception, and he's faced this in his past before. He faced this before. He's done this. There's a lot of women. This ain't gotten over the Hillary Clinton thing, Barack. Hello, buddy.
Right.
So you're taking a look at people that have they don't forget. Whatever the candidacy is, it has to have the perception that there's a hope to level the playing field. That's the terminology, right?
Right. Right. Vice presidential candidate, probably Cannon should be a woman because there's a lot of qualified women candidates. I'm not saying they're not qualified. I'm just concerned about America's perception.
No,
But,
perception is what
but,
I'm telling you, Mickey.
right,
The
right.
perception of
Okay.
women are for Barack Obama, you snooped the scooty once, dude, with Hillary, never kind of forgave you about that, dude. So you understand perception is everything. You
It
see,
absolutely is.
that's what you're
Right. So
dealing with in a competitor
who would
nature.
so it sounds like you would favor Gretchen Whitmer
Oh, I'm
to
not
run,
saying who I'd favor. I'm not
well,
saying who I'd favor. I'm
to
telling you
run.
the perception wise, Barack Obama didn't fare well last time. He didn't support a woman. He will not fare well again. There's a point by which you get to look at the number of women that are voting, and now look at the women that are going to be of voting age. So you understand there's a silent, what's the word?
Silent
There's a
majority.
silent, there's
There
an
was,
elephant in the room that we're
right.
not talking about.
Interesting.
And honestly, you're not going to get Gal Gadot to run with you, but
Yeah,
certainly that would be an
right.
interesting. But it's not that you pick a woman, it's the perception that you don't. You see? See, we're
Ah,
talking about perception.
okay. So basically, what you're saying is,
Yeah.
how do you feel about a woman actually running for president against Trump in 2028? I mean, Kamala Harris did.
Well,
She's
Obama, we're
predict
talking Obama.
right. That's right. So we're talking
Perception of
Obama.
Obama
Right.
doing it again,
Right.
Mr. Bypassing Hillary Clinton, doing
Okay.
it again ain't going to fare well for tens of millions of women.
Okay.
Okay, we got to end the show. I love this cliffhanger.
Wait a minute.
No,
Okay.
we
Oh,
got.
we
We
do have
actually
to.
have to go.
We
No,
do
we
have
really.
to. We do
We
have
do.
the
We have to
end.
go.
Well, let's consider this.
Okay.
Okay. Biden ran with Kamala. Biden won.
Hmm.
Okay. So what you're saying, and I think I agree with you actually.
But Biden's different. Everybody knew Biden was a supporter of women. I mean, you're not talking the same
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah.
You already snooched the scooch, Mr. Obama. We
Well,
don't
if he's
kind
going
of trust you right, dear. We love
okay, here it
you.
is.
We love
Okay.
you, but we gotta
If
go.
he
We gotta go.
picks,
I got another show
if
coming up, Dr. Mickey.
I
You're
know
gonna have to, we're gonna have to
if he
put the
picks the right
cork in the
lady,
bottle.
if
Put
he
the
picks the
cork in
right
the right.
lady, he'll win. He
I
will
don't know
win.
if that even matters. I don't think it even matters. Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Mickey. We got more to talk about.
Yeah, we
I can't
do.
wait to do the next show. Thank you
Okay,
all.
great.
Man, tell us what you think. Comment, send your email in to comments at Transformation Talk Radio. We'd love to hear your thoughts from now till a lot of months. But those of you out there, should George W. Bush get back in a race? Just saying. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
You have been listening to Inside the Mind of Hiring with me, Dr. Mickey Feinberg. Tune in the first and third Tuesday at 11 on Transformation Talk Radio to discover the psychology of making successful hiring decisions. In each episode, hiring managers and HR pros will learn how to leverage assessments and other key screening sources and avoid common pitfalls. Job seekers will gain insight into successfully presenting themselves. For more information on assessing people for mission-critical jobs and on career assessment and coaching, visit deltaconsultants.com and my LinkedIn profile. If you'd like to write me personally, it's Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y, at deltaconsultants.com.